Have you ever walked into a room and felt every pair of eyes pause on you even before you said a word? It wasn't because of your looks. It wasn't because of noise. It was something invisible yet present as clearly as gravity. A kind of silent magnetism that draws quiet attention. You weren't seeking it, but your energy was speaking. In a world where voices are measured by volume, there are those who never raise theirs, yet still cause others to stop. They don't shine in a dazzling way. They burn slowly. But that flame alters the atmosphere around them. It's not magic. It's aura. An energy field, your presence, your essence, speaking on your behalf. Stoicism doesn't talk about energy like a religion might. But Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Your soul, over time, takes on the color of your thoughts. And when that color becomes clear enough, the world begins to feel it. No words needed. In this video, we'll take a quiet journey uncovering 5 signs your aura is stronger than you think. Not to impress, but to help you understand why strange things seem to happen around you and how to protect that power in a chaotic world. 1. The gaze that calls no one, yet stops everyone. Not all light needs to make a sound to be recognized. Some things exist quietly, like an undercurrent beneath the Earth's crust, yet powerful enough to shift a compass. People can be like that too. There are those who don't need greetings, flamboyant entrances, or loud confidence, yet the moment they pass through, the air in the room changes. Tension softens, conversations quiet, and everyone subconsciously adjusts their tone, their posture. No one knows why, but everyone feels it. It's not that they attract others. It's that their energy stands steady like a pillar in the room. Those with a strong aura don't need to ask for attention. Their energy speaks long before they ever do. They don't invite, don't pull people in, yet others come anyway. A brief glance on a street corner. A stranger asking for directions who lingers longer than necessary. A child, unafraid, quietly reaching out to hold your hand. These small, seemingly random moments all share a truth. You didn't call them, but they came. And they didn't come for external charm. They came because your quiet presence made them feel safe, a kind of safety they can't explain and can't walk away from. This kind of pull doesn't come from social skills, nor from efforts to prove who you are. It comes from something deeper, slower, more ancient, that you've lived long enough in truth with yourself. People sense completeness in your energy. They don't know why they trust you, but they do. They don't need your life story, but they can feel the weight of a soul that no longer needs to be seen, because it has long made peace with the dark. The modern world teaches us to call to shout, to show up loudly to be noticed. But those with strong aura live in reverse. They don't dance to be in the frame. They don't fight to be heard in the conversation. They simply stand there, and their presence makes others adjust. No one asks them to speak, but when they do, others pause to listen. And even when they are silent, the way they are silent carries something wordless, yet unmistakable. Children and animals. Those untouched by society's conditioning sense pure energy, faster than anyone. A child decides in seconds whether to run into your arms. A barking dog suddenly stops, walks over, and lies at your feet. If you've experienced moments like these, don't brush them off as coincidence. They are signs. Silent signals that your energy is touching deeper layers of life beyond language and learned behavior. Stoicism rarely speaks of aura, but it speaks of dignity. It speaks of an inner state that others may not understand, but must respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let your manner be quiet and composed, and at the same time neither fawning nor arrogant." Those with strong aura live this. They don't swing between extremes. They dwell in the center of themselves. They don't need to borrow light to exist. They are the light, quiet, but independent of any external source. There was a time in life when you explained yourself constantly. You explained why you were silent, why you chose a different path. You explained even when no one cared for the answer. And then one day you realized, the more you explained, the more you diluted the stillness at your core. The world doesn't need you to justify yourself before it accepts you. The world only needs to see that you are unmoved by the storm of judgment. When you stop seeking approval, something strange happens. People begin to listen. They don't understand you, but they're drawn to you, hoping you hold answers for their own lives. There is a kind of presence that silences questions. People no longer ask why you're quiet, why you don't join the noise, why you don't try to impress. They no longer need to understand you because simply standing near you, they feel the difference. They feel an energy that needs no proving, a stillness that reminds them that some things cannot be explained in words. And it's that namelessness that draws them closer, wanting to stay, wanting to feel more, wanting to hold on to the quiet you carry. Those with strong aura don't enter others' lives with sermons. They don't demand belief. They don't try to convince. Their gravity isn't in their logic, but in the way people feel around them. That stillness, that steadiness, it becomes an answer others can't find in books or debates. People come not out of curiosity, but from a longing to rest in a presence that judges nothing. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Those with strong aura understand this. They don't move through life with a checklist of things to prove. They choose to live rightly, quietly, truthfully, and that choice alone makes them living proof of wholeness. Others don't need reasons. They only need to see. And once they do, they can't unsee it. In a world obsessed with being understood, those who no longer need to be understood become rare. And that rarity makes you stand out without noise. You walk in, and your silence echoes louder than any defense. People see in you a mystery they can't solve but want to touch. They don't come to judge. They come to feel. And in that moment, you become a quiet mirror reflecting back their own, their hunger for a peace that needs no explanation. Only when you stop trying to be understood do you begin to truly live as yourself. And when you live that way, you become proof that strength isn't in being heard, but in being so still that no one can look away. A strong aura is not built with words. It is what you become when you no longer need them. From that moment on, your presence is no longer a question in need of answering, but a silent answer others long to be near. 2. You don't listen to the world. You sense it. There are moments when you walk into a strange room and instantly know something's off even before anyone speaks. A fleeting glance, a sharp breath, a vague tension in the air. It all plays like background music only you can hear. Others keep smiling, talking, pretending everything is fine, but deep down, you've already seen the cracks. It's not imagination. It's intuition, the silent language of the world, and a strong aura is what allows you to touch it. Intuition isn't loud. It doesn't scream like the frantic thoughts of daily life. It arrives like a slow breath, like a passing breeze carrying a message you don't need logic to decipher. Those who've never learned to listen will miss it, but those who've stood still in storms will hear every whisper. And when you're quiet enough, the world begins to reveal layers of signals most people never reach because they're too busy chasing noise. Some call it instinct, others call it a sixth sense. But it's nothing supernatural. It's simply the ability to see into what is, rather than skimming the surface. Those with strong aura are often like clear mirrors. They reflect everything, even what others try to hide. A forced smile, a trembling hand, a silence in the wrong place, what seems meaningless to others rings out to them like a signal. And because of this, they know before the world is ready to admit it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change." When you learn to observe and accept that everything is in motion, you'll see that intuition isn't vague prediction, it's alignment with the true current of life. Nature is always whispering. Only still minds can hear. Others think you're guessing, but you know you're not. You're simply hearing what they've missed. Intuition is the bridge between within and without. It doesn't arise from tension, but from release. When the mind stops filling itself with assumptions and desires, it begins to feel the truth flowing beneath every situation. That's why true intuition often comes with peace, while anxiety always arrives in chaos. Anxiety whispers hundreds of what-ifs, while intuition states only one thing: this is. And once you realize intuition isn't a voice in your head, but the heartbeat of the world touching you, you begin to trust it more. You stop denying the truth when you sense someone's dishonesty, no matter how sweet their words. You stop staying in rooms that weigh down your mind, no matter how polished they appear. You choose to walk away when your heart knows that staying would be betrayal to yourself. No evidence needed. Evidence will come later, and when it does, you'll remember your heart always knew. Intuition is the gift of presence. It doesn't show up in hurried minds. It comes only to those who slow down and listen. You don't need to search for it. It was never gone. You simply need to stay silent long enough to hear the voice of the world echoing through you. And when you live this way, you don't just hear the sounds of life, you feel its rhythm. When your aura is finely tuned, you don't just touch the light and graceful energies, you're also forced to face the heaviness, the things others try to hide, the emotions they won't admit. You don't just hear laughter, you feel the sobs stifled behind it. You don't just see bright eyes, you see the weariness tucked deep in their corners. And because you sense more, you carry more. What others overlook, you retain. What others ignore, you absorb, etched into your mind like marks that won't easily fade. This is why you often feel drained in crowded places. While others return from a party with joy, you return with emptiness and heaviness. Not because you hate people, but because you've unconsciously absorbed too many scattered emotional fragments. Every strained smile, every anxious glance, every harmless lie, they cling to you like invisible dust. And even if you don't want them, they follow you home, weighing you down with a burden only you can feel. People often mistake sensitivity for weakness, but in truth, to feel deeply requires a strength most never touch. Because you don't just live in your own world, you live in the world of everyone you pass. You must walk through hundreds of emotional heartbeats without letting your own heart break beneath their weight. That takes a quiet kind of strength, not to fight, but to stand firm in the rain that falls day after day. Epictetus once warned, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit. If someone can disturb your peace, it's because you allowed their chaos in. For those with strong aura, the lesson is even deeper. It's not just knowing what to let in, it's knowing when to shut the invisible door so you don't become a vessel for others' turmoil. Because sensing is not the same as suffering. And compassion is not the same as enabling destruction. The cost of deep sensitivity is becoming a safe haven for those in crisis, sometimes even when you didn't ask for it. They come to you unconsciously, like the thirsty drawn to a hidden well. They take from your energy they cannot generate themselves. If you don't learn to protect yourself, you'll slowly unravel. But if you do, you'll master the great art of existence, to give without losing, to open without dissolving, to listen without drowning. To feel more is a gift, but every gift comes with responsibility. That responsibility is not to save everyone. It is to make sure you don't sink with them. Because if your light goes out, there is nothing left for the world to hold on to. And that is the paradox of the sensitive soul. The more you carry, the more you must learn to let go. Only by letting go do you preserve the light that drew others to you in the first place. They don't move through life with a checklist of things to prove. They choose to live rightly, quietly, truthfully, and that choice alone makes them living proof of wholeness. Others don't need reasons. They only need to see. And once they do, they can't unsee it. In a world obsessed with being understood, those who no longer need to be understood become rare. And that rarity makes you stand out without noise. You walk in, and your silence echoes louder than any defense. People see in you a mystery they can't solve but want to touch. They don't come to judge. They come to feel. And in that moment, you become a quiet mirror reflecting back their own, their hunger for a peace that needs no explanation. Only when you stop trying to be understood do you begin to truly live as yourself. And when you live that way, you become proof that strength isn't in being heard, but in being so still that no one can look away. A strong aura is not built with words. It is what you become when you no longer need them. Your presence is no longer still that no one a question in need of answering, but a silent answer others long to be near. 2. You don't listen to the world. You sense it. There are moments when you walk into a strange room and instantly know something's off even before anyone speaks. A fleeting glance, a sharp breath, a vague tension in the air. It all plays like background when you no longer need background music only you can hear. Others keep smiling, talking, pretending everything is fine, but deep down, you've already seen the cracks. It's not imagination. It's intuition, the silent language of the world, and a strong aura is what allows you to touch it. Intuition isn't loud. It doesn't scream like the frantic thoughts of daily life. It arrives like a slow breath, like a passing breeze carrying a message you don't need logic to decipher. Those who've never learned to listen will miss it, but those who've stood still in storms will hear every whisper. And when you're quiet enough, the world begins to reveal layers of signals most people never reach because they're too busy chasing noise. Some call it instinct, others call it a sixth sense. But it's nothing supernatural. It's simply the ability to see into what is rather than skimming the surface. Those with strong aura are often like clear mirrors. They reflect everything, even what others try to hide. A forced smile, a trembling hand, a silence in the wrong place, what seems meaningless to others rings out to them like a signal. And because of this, they know before the world is ready to admit it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Observe always that everything is the result of change, and get used to thinking that there is nothing nature loves so well as to change." When you learn to observe and accept that everything is in motion, you'll see that intuition isn't vague prediction, it's alignment with the true current of life. Nature is always whispering. Only still minds can hear. Others think you're guessing, but you know you're not. You're simply hearing what they've missed. Intuition is the bridge between within and without. It doesn't arise from tension, but from release. When the mind stops filling itself with assumptions and desires, it begins to feel the truth flowing beneath every situation. That's why true intuition often comes with peace, while anxiety always arrives in chaos. Anxiety whispers hundreds of what-ifs, while intuition states only one thing: this is. And once you realize intuition isn't a voice in your head, but the heartbeat of the world touching you, you begin to trust it more. You stop denying the truth when you sense someone's dishonesty, no matter how sweet their words. You stop staying in rooms that weigh down your mind, no matter how polished they appear. You choose to walk away when your heart knows that staying would be betrayal to yourself. No evidence needed. Evidence 3. Your body speaks what words cannot. The world often teaches us that only what can be measured is real. People believe in numbers, in proof, in metrics visible to the eye. But there are moments when truth lies beyond the realm of what can be quantified. A light flickers as you walk past. A fully charged phone heats up and shuts down in your hand. A weight presses on your chest the moment you step into a stranger's home. Others call it coincidence or malfunction. But if you've ever lived with a strong aura, you know these phenomena are far from meaningless. They are the imprints that invisible energy leaves on the visible world. Humans are not merely flesh and bone. Each heartbeat generates an electric wave. Every breath alters the vibration of the energy field around us. And when that energy becomes strong enough, it doesn't remain confined to the inner self. It expands, radiates, collides, and leaves its mark on the material world. Like a stone thrown into still water, its ripples travel far, touching things seemingly unrelated. The person with a strong aura is that stone. And the body of water is every space they pass through. Many will deny this. They'll say it's just coincidence. But if you pay attention, you'll see these coincidences repeat so often they can no longer be dismissed. Lights flicker whenever you appear not once, but many times. Others feel heat in the room, but when you walk in, they remark that the temperature has changed, though no heater was turned on. These tiny details aren't the universe playing tricks. They are traces of a current humanity rarely acknowledges the current of living energy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Constantly regard the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul." If the universe is truly a living body, then you and I cannot be separate from it. And if our soul is strong enough, it won't remain limited to the personal, it will touch other layers of life, including the material. When the light flickers, when the space shifts, it is your soul echoing through the greater body called the universe. This doesn't mean you must become superstitious or fear the strange. On the contrary, it is a reminder that your energy carries weight and you must learn to take responsibility for it. When you walk into a room full of chaos, a strong aura can calm the air like an invisible hand smoothing ripples on a lake. But if you carry anger, that same energy can unsettle everything around you like a storm tearing through fragile stillness. Your body doesn't lie, and the energy you emit is its silent language. The visible world isn't a separate stage, it is a mirror reflecting what you hold within. Those with strong aura know that every thought, every feeling has consequences not just in the spiritual realm, but in the physical. When they stabilize their inner world, the external world shifts too. Not because they force control, but because they become a gravity that everything else must orbit. When invisible energy marks the visible world, it isn't magic, it is truth. And if you learn to live with that awareness, you'll begin to understand that every moment of your life leaves a trace whether you see it or not. People can lie with words, but the body rarely speaks falsehoods. A firm declaration may be spoken aloud, yet a trembling hand reveals insecurity. A broad smile might light the face, yet the eyes betray exhaustion from sleepless nights. And those with strong aura see all these signals not through effortful analysis, but through natural perception. They don't read words. They read bodies as if every movement, every breath, every gesture were letters etched into space. Those with strong aura often carry the ability to see through the glittering shells others build around themselves. Not to judge, but to witness the truth hidden beneath. A businessman may be dressed in luxury and speak with confidence, but the slight inward curve of his shoulders reveals the anxiety eating him alive. A friend may insist everything's fine, yet one stray sigh mid-sentence uncovers the void within. These tiny details form the real picture, and it's a picture words can never paint. The body is the truest mirror of the mind. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The soul is tinted by thought, and that tint soon seeps into our gait, our gaze, our presence. You may suppress your anger, but your face will flush. You may bury your grief, but your slouched back won't fool anyone. The body cannot lie. It is the stage where the soul performs, whether you intend it or not. Those with strong aura don't just see this in others, they see it in themselves. They learn to observe the body as a mirror reflecting their inner world. When they feel their hands clenching, they know a storm is brewing inside. When they notice their posture leaning forward, they know the mind is chasing anxieties. They don't judge themselves for it. They simply listen because the body has become a loyal friend, always speaking truth when the mind tries to hide. And from that awareness, they find peace not by denial, but by acknowledging what truly is. Epictetus once advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That reminder echoes loudly in how the body communicates. You can talk about calm all day, but if your eyes dart constantly, no one will believe you. You can preach confidence, but if your walk is shaky, your words lose meaning. Philosophy becomes truth only when it seeps into every gesture, every posture, every breath. The body becomes the final proof, needing no defense, no justification. When you live true to your philosophy, your body naturally emits signals that others feel. They can't describe it, but they know there's stability, calm, and silent strength emanating from your presence. That's what makes your aura unmistakable. And it's also why you need fewer words, because your body has become an open book, spelling out truths that words could never reach. 4. You're not avoiding the world. You're choosing when to appear. There is a truth most people don't want to admit. We are not endless sources of energy. Within each of us is a flame, and no matter how strong it burns, it still needs shelter, still needs nourishment, still needs silence to recover. Those with a strong aura understand this more than anyone. They don't rush into everything. Don't dive into every crowd. Don't chase every invitation. They know when to step back, not out of fear or weakness, but because they've seen the cost of wasting energy. The cost of a flame dying before it ever had a chance to light what truly mattered. Others may see you leave a party early and quickly label you as cold or distant. But they don't understand that staying one more hour means sacrificing the clarity and peace of your mind tomorrow. Every forced laugh, every meaningless conversation, every mask worn in the crowd, all of it seeps into you, slowly eroding the stillness and lucidity you've spent years building. To retreat, in their eyes, is to run away, but to you, it's an act of courage, a brave move to protect the flame within from being snuffed out by winds that mean nothing. There is a form of courage not found in standing your ground, but in knowing when to walk away. Because not every battle deserves your presence, not every place deserves your energy. Marcus Aurelius once said, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you step back, you reclaim ownership of your mind. You refuse to let the world decide your inner stability, and real strength lies not in enduring everything, but in knowing what to pass over, what to keep, and what to decline. The inner flame is like an oil lamp. If you let the wind blow constantly without shielding it, the flame will flicker and go out. But if you know when to close the door, when to raise your hand to block the wind, that light will endure. Those with strong aura understand that no one else can guard that flame for them. The world won't pause so you can heal. It will keep screaming, keep demanding, keep pulling at you. If you don't know how to withdraw, it will drain you dry, and then your presence becomes nothing more than an empty shell. Stepping back doesn't mean turning your back on life. On the contrary, it is preparation for a deeper, more lasting presence. Like a warrior who knows when to regroup for the final battle. Like an artist who knows when silence is needed so the music can rise at the perfect moment. You step back, not to disappear, but so when you return, you are bright, strong, and steady enough that no one dares overlook you. Perhaps the greatest paradox of a strong aura is this. The more you learn to retreat, the more undeniable your presence becomes when you return. Because then, you are no longer someone carrying exhaustion. You are someone carrying a flame that has been preserved, nurtured, burning quietly, and now ready to light the room once more. There is a mistake people often make. They believe their value lies in being everywhere, saying yes to everything, inserting themselves into every place and conversation. They fear that if they're absent, the world will forget them. But the truth is the opposite. It's rarity that gives presence its weight. A voice may echo through a room, but only when spoken at the right moment does it make everyone stop and listen. A presence may be seen everywhere, but only when it shows up in the right place does it become a declaration no one can ignore. Those with strong aura understand they don't need to spread themselves thin. They are like the lone wolf that doesn't hunt with a noisy pack but waits for the perfect moment to strike. Like the artist who understands the silence between notes is what gives the next high note its power to send shivers down the spine. It is the absence, the space that makes a moment of presence unforgettable. Wisdom lies in selection. It's not about showing up everywhere. It's about showing up in the right place, at the right time, with unmistakable wholeness. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That wisdom doesn't only apply to actions and speech, it also applies to presence. If the moment is not right, you don't need to show up. If the situation holds no value, you don't need to offer your presence. Because you understand that every appearance consumes a part of your precious energy. And if your presence doesn't bring light, then it is merely another shadow added to an already crowded room. This goes against the logic of the majority, a world where people are encouraged to be everywhere, leave their mark on every stage, be mentioned in every conversation, but it is scarcity that breeds worth. Like a rare gem not scattered among gravel, but hidden deep, demanding reverence when found. Your well-timed appearance is the same. It makes others pause, pay attention, and wonder why that presence shifts the air in the room. When you choose where you show up, you become a punctuation mark in life's story. A punctuation mark doesn't appear constantly, but it shapes the entire meaning. Your presence defines the rhythm of the space, draws the line between chaos and calm. Others may not say it aloud, but they feel it that when you are there, the room's tempo changes, balance is restored, and the weight of truth becomes sharper. Presence is not a race for quantity, it is the art of discernment. And that art requires courage. because choosing not to show up is easily misunderstood as arrogance or distance. But those with strong aura need no justification. They know their presence is a form of wealth, and that wealth cannot be scattered everywhere. They reserve it for moments that truly matter. And because of that, when they enter, the world stops to look. 5. When you truly want something, the world begins to shift. Some people live their entire lives in a state of passivity. They believe the world is a force beyond control, operating on random, sometimes cruel laws, and they are merely trying to adapt to what. I used to be the kind of person who showed up everywhere, joined every conversation, trying not to fall behind. Every day I carried a different version of myself into the world, believing that constant presence would create value. But the more people knew me, the more I felt myself disappearing. I smiled, I spoke, I acted like I was fine until I realized I was burning my inner flame just to maintain a light others were the ones benefiting from. So I withdrew, not from life, but from places that made me lose the truth within. And in that silence, for the first time, I heard myself. Not my voice, but my energy, the thing that vibrated in every space I entered. I no longer needed others to understand me. I only needed to live in alignment with who I truly am. Because I had learned this, when someone lives in truth, the world instinctively begins to adjust when they want something. If you've found value in this journey, consider liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you won't miss the next videos. Made for those who live deeply, authentically, and awake. Be the one who remains silent but can never be ignored. See you in the next video. Cover.